You're not electing your prime minister directly, but you are choosing a member of parliament from the multiple candidates that political parties actually present in your particular electoral riding.
Hi, I'm Sean Lyons, and welcome to Civic School. This is our new series where, we want to provide you with some information, everything you need to arm yourself when it comes to federal elections, Canadian government, and really pretty much all the info you need to exercise your rights and your power as a citizen. I can't stress enough, this is going to be all about the information. There are no stupid questions here. And to make sure we get it right, I'm not going to ask you to, count on me or listen to my answers. We're going to bring in experts who teach this stuff for a living so we can give you all the tools you need out there. Now, how are we going to do this? We took some sample questions from the Canada Citizenship Quiz, and we took them out to the public to ask people what they know and how they would do on this exam. I will tell you, this is not an easy exam either. So a few of us around the office, we took this quiz. We want to make sure you understand that you may know more than you think you know. We took the quiz. I'm not going to speak for anybody else. I'm also not going to give you my final score, but I can tell you as a former poli-sci major and someone who does this for a living, let's just say I didn't exactly get a star from the teacher on this one. So we are going to dive in, going to try to bring you as much information as we can. To do that, I'm joined by some colleagues around the table this morning. Carla Desir from the CBC Montreal newsroom. And Carla, we sent you and our intern Matthew out to the streets to find out what people know, what they don't know about how the system works here. What'd you find out?
So Matthew and I, the unofficial Gen Z correspondents of CBC Quebec, we went to McGill campus to see some unsuspecting students and asked them what they knew about the Canadian federal election system. What we found, they knew when the election was, thank God. They could name some of the people who were running for PM. They could name some of the heads of the party. Some more technical things like what is a voter information card, or what is an opposition party, or the difference between a majority and a minority government, were things that they did not know, but they were all very forthcoming about the fact that they needed to educate themselves more.
What is a voter information card?
A voter information card? Give us some options.
How many seats are up for grabs this election?
Oh,
What is this? Can we get like a plus or minus
we're
5?
voting for the House of Commons, I think.
Name two responsibilities of the federal government.
Okay, federal government, make laws. Make laws, I think, something like that.
No?
Protecting the country.
National defense? Yeah.
National defense.
Federal government.
Can you name two responsibilities of the federal government? I could give you options if you'd like.
Yeah, maybe just give me some options. Real good defense and foreign policy.
What issue is most important for the election for you?
I would say I feel like I still need to educate myself a bit more. A big thing right now definitely would be like our relationship with the US, the trade policies and stuff, and the economy, definitely. A lot of social issues, housing, keeping it sustainable, and yeah.
As I said before, I am not going to be the person to answer some of these questions. We're going to bring in experts who know their stuff, in fact, who teach this stuff for a living. One of them is Ara Karabagosian. He teaches political science at Vanier College, and he's with me around the table now. I want to start with some basics here. Let's set a baseline. When it comes to civics, what do people really need to know about our electoral political system in order to really be able to cast a vote?
Okay, so basics 101, Canada's electoral system, Westminster, first past the post, single member plurality. These are all names that are thrown around, right? So what does that all mean? Basically, Canada is cut up at the federal level into 343 smaller geographical areas, right? We call those constituencies, electoral ridings. In each electoral riding, the political parties will present one candidate, whichever political party that is. And when you, as a voter, go to your electoral riding's polling station, you are going to cast a ballot to choose one of those candidates, and that person will eventually become your representative, basically your member of parliament, and those 343 constituencies correspond to seats. in the House of Commons, where we send our elected representatives to represent us and be our voice. And that's where they do most of their business. And the political party that wins the largest number of seats, the leader of that political party has the prerogative to become the Prime Minister of our country. Therefore, you're not electing your Prime Minister directly, but you are choosing a member of Parliament from the multiple candidates that political parties actually present in your particular electoral riding.
Now, when we watched that video of some of the people who chatted with us, did anything jump out at you? Were you surprised by any of the answers and even some of the confusion that was expressed by some of the people we talked to?
I can't say I'm surprised because I, teach for a living and I'm around that age group and younger people. It's more commonplace than you think to hear those type of responses. So no, I'm not surprised, unfortunately.
Now, I want to point out as well, we want to thank everybody who took part and answered our questions out on the campus of McGill. We appreciate you all. None of this to shame or embarrass anybody. We really want to take the pulse so that we can really understand what people know and don't know. How much of some of this, some of the issues, some of the challenges here is that Canadians especially are bombarded by politics from a completely different political and electoral system and culture than our own that maybe is throwing some of the confusion into the works on our side of the border?
Very much so, right? We're overshadowed by, 300 million plus population to a Canadian population of about 40 million or close to that. Big market down there for entertainment, sports, culture, and various other things that Canadians consume a whole lot of, right? More so than we consume our own cultural products or sports and whatnot. So we're overshadowed not only culturally but politically as well. So sometimes Canadians seem at least to take more interest in what's going on down south politically and be aware of certain things about their political system and their electoral system than we are of our own. So yes, confusion, absolutely. For example, they do vote straight for their president or the person that's the most influential decision maker and powerful person in their political landscape or their system, whereas we don't.
I'll ask you straight up, as a CEGEP teacher, this is a bit of a loaded question for you, but do we need a mandatory civics class in the province of Quebec at some level?
Absolutely. There is no question about that, so unfortunately we missed a little bit of an opportunity here in Quebec. We revised our CEGEP social sciences program a couple of years ago, and we could have done exactly that and put a mandatory civics class, but the window is now closed on that. I would suggest that it's actually a high school class before you get to CEGEP, right? CEGEP is when you're turning 18, your right to exercise your ballot and your democratic right to vote begins. So maybe it should be, a little bit before that, in last year of high school, that we get this mandatory civics class in, so that people are better armed once they get there to exercise that democratic right in the proper fashion, being informed.
What do you think the most important things people should know, and are the most important things people should know in order to get ready to cast their ballot and make the best decisions for themselves and for their communities?
In the current context and the current federal election, don't just pay attention to what's going on to the south of us and the trade wars and the president's tariffs and so on and so forth. There are domestic issues that are important here in Canada, various things like housing, affordability, and other things that are very important to people here. So pay attention to those. I tell people, don't just listen to your party leaders that are vying to become your prime minister, but you also have a constituency. That's where you go to vote, and you have political party candidates that are running for office in your constituency, and there are stakes and issues that take place in your constituency as well. So you need to be paying attention to that level too, in terms of what those people are saying and how they're trying to convince you that they're the best possible option for you.
Ara, thanks so much for dropping by.
Thanks for having me, Sean.
This is Civic School, class dismissed.